This is Kira Angione from Real Life of the Long Island International Film Expo, and I'm here with Mark Cabaroy of Mr. Famous.
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit about your film?
Yes, it's a story of a famous actor on a television show.
Mr. Famous.
Yes, who has lunch with a couple who don't recognize him. And so as the lunch goes on, he gets more and more uncomfortable because he realizes that much of his identity is through the show, and they don't know who he is.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So what was your inspiration for that?
It was actually several things. I was talking to my wife one day, and she was watching a television show, and she said, "Oh, this actor from the show," and I realized I didn't recognize them. I realized that because there's so much television out there that there's literally hundreds of shows. There's probably dozens of shows with actors in it that I just don't know who they are. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to meet an actor who's on a show for like years, 5, 6, 7 years, and I had never seen the show, how uncomfortable it would be for them.
Yeah, it was probably a big ego depleter there.
And so I had an idea about what would happen to an actor who would have lunch and who's used to being recognized and who would be humiliated, not intentionally, just simply because they just don't know him.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a good film.
It is. I actually saw a commercial for the iPhone 7, and what happened was I wanted to make a film on an iPhone, so I thought, well, this would be an interesting film to try it. So actually, I got an iPhone, I fitted it with equipment, I got a stabilization device, and I made the film with a group of actually rehearsed, and we shot it in like one day with several iPhones.
So you probably saved a bunch of money on renting equipment, right?
Yes and no. I mean, even the process of shooting on, whether it's an iPhone or a Red camera or a Panavision camera, is the same. But post-production doesn't change. You have to still go through color correction, sound mixing, music scoring. So all that's still the same. So it saves you a little bit of time, and it's an interesting process. But ultimately, it's still the same as making a film. It's just the medium you start out at. It always ends the same.
Would you say that if anybody can make a film on their iPhone, you think there's more, you have to try harder to get your story out there if anybody can kind of do it?
I think that with the platforms, the way streaming is today on different platforms, it doesn't really matter what it starts in. I mean, you have features that are made on an iPhone, and I did it as a novelty just to see if I could do it. But I could have easily just done it with a Red camera or a higher-end camera. Would it have made any difference? I think ultimately it's the stories that we're telling, not what it starts at. I think there's a certain kind of concern filmmakers need the validity that we need to shoot on big equipment. When I was first making films, I shot in film. And I used to think that I used to need to shoot on 35mm film. But really, you don't. It has nothing to do with the medium, although it does lend itself certain dramatic and textural qualities. I think ultimately it's the story. So if you have a really compelling story told in a really interesting way, I think that'll always outshine the medium, so to speak.
That's good. So speaking of stories, do you have any stories you want to tell from being on set?
Yeah, there was one particular actor who was really good. He was in a couple of different films, and I was really excited to have him. And for whatever reason, he got the days confused, and he wasn't quite off book on the film. And a lot of the scenes were shot really long because we had multiple iPhones. We would do like 3 or 4 minute long takes. So I guess he would like pin the pages up in different places and look like he was very good at glancing at it and doing it. But like during a big dinner scene, we shot like one master shot with like a Steadicam. They actually have a Steadicam for iPhones.
I've seen those. They're crazy.
Osmos. So we're craning around the thing, and we're shooting this long take, and all the other actors are off book, and they're like hitting it. And every once in a while, I get something saying, but it worked so well with his character that we kept it in. So yeah, so that was an interesting thing that he sort of stretched to remember his lines.
So you took an obstacle and kind of turned it into something that was positive with the character, right?
I would claim credit for it. It just happened to work out into the scene really well.
Well, that sounds good. I know we're looking forward to seeing your film.
Oh, thank you.
Hope you're excited to screen it here at LIIFE.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
here.
here.
It's my second time here, so I'm happy.
Yeah. Do you have any future plans for the film?
Yeah, we're playing festivals. I mean, it was really, like I said, more of an experiment. It turned out really well. I think it turned out a lot better than we all thought it would. We'll play some festivals with it. We'll see what happens. You know, there's a film I made a while ago, so I'm more into other projects now. So as it goes, I'll try and show up at festivals and speak to people like yourself and see what the audience is and see how it plays.
That's great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Karen Gion from Real Life, and we'll see you next time.